Come sit with me for a moment, sweetheart. Let me tell you a little story from the days people seem to be forgetting. Did you know that in 1952, the average American homemaker spent more than 50 hours a week just cleaning and caring for the house? And the surprising part is, they did it without disposable wipes, robot vacuums, or modern cleaning sprays. But somehow their homes stayed beautifully clean. You know, sweetheart, back in 1952, keeping a home clean wasn't something we rushed through between errands and phone calls. It was practically a full-time job. Most homemakers spent about 52 hours every single week taking care of the house. And we didn't have fancy sprays, robot vacuums, or disposable wipes. What we had were simple routines and a lot of patience. Funny thing is, many of those old habits actually worked pretty well. Let me tell you about 10 cleaning habits from the 1950s that folks seem to have forgotten today. In our house, Monday mornings meant one thing: laundry day. Before automatic machines became common, clothes were washed in big tubs, sometimes with wringer washers that squeezed the water out between two rollers. After that, everything went outside on the clothesline. There was nothing quite like the smell of sheets dried in the sunshine and fresh air. Even today, I swear nothing smells cleaner than that. Wall-to-wall carpet wasn't common yet. Instead, many homes had large rugs that needed regular cleaning. So once in a while, we'd carry them outside, hang them over a line or railing, and beat the dust out with a rug beater. It was noisy work, but watching clouds of dust fly out was strangely satisfying. Back then, many homes were filled with real wood furniture, and that meant polishing it often. Homemakers used soft cloths and polish to keep tables, cabinets, and chairs shining. It wasn't just about looks. Polishing helped protect the wood for decades. That's why so many old pieces from the 1950s still look beautiful today. Waxing the floors. Kitchen and hallway floors often had linoleum or hardwood, and they needed regular care. So every few weeks we'd apply floor wax and polish it until it shined. Sometimes we even used a hand buffer. It took effort, but when the sunlight hit that glossy floor, it looked like glass. Airing out the house. Back then, people believed a home needed fresh air every day. Even in cooler weather, windows were opened for a little while to let the house breathe. It helped clear cooking smells, freshen fabrics, and bring in a bit of the outdoors. Many folks today rely on air fresheners, but we relied on the wind. Cleaning with simple pantry. Ingredients. You might be surprised, but many cleaning solutions came from the kitchen shelf. Things like baking soda, vinegar, lemon juice. These were used for scrubbing sinks, removing odors, and shining metal. No chemical names you couldn't pronounce. Just simple household staples. Shaking out tablecloths and curtains. Tablecloths and curtains were used in many homes, and they collected dust quickly. Instead of constant washing, homemakers often took them outside and shook them out. It was a quick way to freshen things up without doing another full load of laundry. And before we continue, if these old memories bring a smile to your face, consider subscribing to the channel. That way, you'll be here for the next story we remember together. Daily kitchen reset. Before going to bed, most homemakers made sure the kitchen was completely reset. Dishes were washed and dried, counters wiped, floors swept. The idea was simple: start the next morning with a clean kitchen. It was a habit that made the whole house feel calmer. Ironing almost everything these days. Many clothes are wrinkle-free. But in the 1950s, ironing was practically an art form. Shirts, dresses, pillowcases, even some tablecloths were carefully pressed with a hot iron. It took time, but people believed neat clothing showed pride in the home. Saturday morning, whole house cleaning. Saturday mornings were often reserved for a top-to-bottom cleaning. That meant sweeping floors, dusting shelves, cleaning bathrooms, straightening every room. By afternoon, the house felt fresh, and the rest of the weekend could finally begin. You know, thinking back on those days always brings a little smile to my face. Life was simpler then, and even the everyday chores had their own rhythm. I'd love to hear from you too. Did your parents or grandparents follow any of these old cleaning habits? Maybe you remember something from those days that people today have completely forgotten. Go ahead and share your memories down in the comments. Stories like these deserve to be remembered, and if you enjoy listening to these little moments from the past, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video with someone who might enjoy a trip down memory lane. After all, the best memories are the ones we keep alive together. There were a few other little habits people followed back then that helped keep a home feeling fresh and welcoming. One thing many homemakers did was wipe down the kitchen cabinets every few days. Grease from cooking could slowly build up on the wood, especially near the stove. So with just a warm cloth and a bit of soap, they would gently clean the cabinet doors. It didn't take long, but it kept the kitchen looking bright and well cared for. Another small routine was sweeping the front porch or entryway every morning. Leaves, dust, and bits of dirt could easily get tracked inside if the entrance wasn't tidy. So before the day truly began, many women would step outside with a broom and give the porch a quick sweep. It was a simple habit that made the whole home feel welcoming. Back then, people also paid close attention to their mattresses and bedding. Every so often, mattresses were turned or flipped to help them wear evenly. Pillows and blankets were taken outside and gently shaken in the fresh air. Sunshine was believed to help keep them fresh and dry. And then there was something many families hardly think about today: cleaning the tops of doors and window frames. Dust naturally settles in those high places, but homemakers in the 1950s often used a cloth wrapped around a broom handle to reach them. It was one of those little details that made a room feel truly clean. Of course, these tasks might seem small on their own, but together they formed a kind of rhythm that guided the week. Each day had its own little responsibilities, and by the time the weekend arrived, the whole house felt calm, orderly, and ready for family time. And speaking of routines, there was another cleaning habit many homemakers followed that might surprise you. In many homes, people made it a point to wipe down door handles, light switches, and stair railings every few days. These were the places everyone touched throughout the day, and even back then, homemakers understood that these small areas collected fingerprints and dust quickly. With a simple damp cloth, they would give them a quick polish, leaving the house looking neat and cared for. Another habit that was quite common was keeping cleaning cloths neatly washed and reused. Instead of disposable wipes, families relied on soft cotton rags made from old shirts or worn-out towels. After a day of cleaning, these cloths were rinsed, washed, and hung to dry, ready to be used again the next week. It was simple, practical, and nothing went to waste. Some homemakers also believed in ending the evening with a quick walk through the house. Before bedtime, they would straighten a chair, fold a blanket, or put away something left on the table. It only took a few minutes, but it meant waking up to a peaceful, tidy home the next morning. And perhaps that was the real secret of keeping a house clean in those days. It wasn't about rushing through chores or using dozens of products. It was about small habits done regularly, a little care here and there, and a sense of pride in the place where your family lived. You see, homes in the 1950s weren't perfect, and life certainly wasn't always easy. But people believed that caring for a home was also a way of caring for the people inside it. And maybe that's the little lesson we can carry with us today. A clean home isn't really about shining floors or spotless windows. It's about creating a place where people feel comfortable, welcomed, and loved. Sometimes the old ways remind us that the simplest habits, a little effort, a little patience, and a little pride, can make a house feel like a true home.